Hello, hello. Um, Welcome to News Literacy Made Easy, the Sift. Thanks for joining us today. I realize it's evening for some of us, and if you're on the East Coast, and I'm actually based in California, so it's afternoon for me. But thank you for joining us after school or this afternoon or evening um, for this half-hour mini webinar. Um, I'm so excited to be here. Appreciate your time. So yeah, I think we'll just, since we've got kind of a short one today, um, just get started a bit. So I'll just first introduce myself. My name is Susan Minichiello, and I am one of the co-writers of the Sift newsletter for educators. And I've been with the News Literacy Project for about just over 3 years. And my background is in journalism. I've been a newspaper reporter, an editor at community newspapers across the US, mostly the Midwest and the West Coast. And before joining NLP, I was the education reporter at my local paper where I covered K through 12 schools and higher ed in the area. Yeah, so I am so excited to be here today because I have been working on the Sift for several years and I just really love this newsletter. So excited to share it with you. If you are new to the Sift, this is a great webinar to just kind of get an understanding of what it is and how you can use it. And if you are a regular subscriber, it's a great chance to just kind of refresh on it and just kind of relearn what we've got. So we've made a few changes in the last year or two. Um, I'd also just like to point out that my colleague Hannah is here and she will be in the chat. You're welcome to share questions as I'm presenting, and if there's time at the end, we'll try to address some of those questions. So yeah, thanks, Hannah. All right, so let's dive in. All right, here we go. Oops. Okay, so just to start, the Sift, if you're new to the Sift, it's a weekly newsletter made just for teachers and educators. And it's delivered during the school year on Mondays. And it's kind of gives you a rundown of the latest topics in news literacy, including trends and issues in misinformation, social media, artificial intelligence, journalism, press freedom. And there's just a lot in there, but it is concise. And I kind of like to think of it as a nice bundle that you receive every week with lots of resources and knowledge. And so I just want to emphasize that this newsletter is free, completely free. It's created by myself and a really wonderful team at the News Literacy Project. I mentioned my background's in journalism, but we have educators on staff, fact checkers, just a really good team that brings you this newsletter for free. So no subscription costs, no paywall. All right, so there's a lot of reasons why the Sift is a great newsletter, but to boil it down, I think these top three reasons are really it. Um, first and foremost, it's very timely and very relevant. We feature top stories and top trends from like the week, so we try to make it so it's within the last 7 or 8 days at maximum. So it's always very timely. It's a quick read, about 5 minutes to skim through, and the style we use in the Sift is it makes it very skimmable. We have a lot of bullet points and try to make it so it's easy to digest, even when the concepts might be kind of complex. And then third, it's helpful to your teaching. Our newsletter audience is primarily educators. We have a lot of librarians and teachers from all different subjects. And so it's just, we provide such several resources that are ready to go in the newsletter that you can use in your teaching. All right, so I mentioned resources in the Sift, and we have classroom-ready resources. We have usually multiple slide decks. Our Daily Do Now slides, which I'll show you some examples of in a bit here, are really popular. And we have quizzes, we have infographics we'll link to. Most issues have concise summaries of our top news literacy topics and trends of the week. And then we take those ideas, excuse me, those topics, and try to help you integrate that into your teaching with discussion prompts and resources. And then we also have a viral rumor section that comes with classroom slides as well and walks through how to debunk false rumors. So, all right. So now that you kind of have a sense of what the SIFT is and what's in it, I thought it'd be great if we dive into some examples and I can share with you what a typical issue looks like. Okay, so when the SIFT lands in your inbox on Mondays, this is what you see at the very top. And right away, I'm going to point here with my arrows. We've got slide decks ready to go for you. And there's our RumorGuard slides, which I'll get to again. I'll come back to that in a bit. But I really wanted to start with our Daily Do Now slides. Those are just really popular and handy. They were created we started making them in 2024 in response to teachers asking for shorter content. And they're about 5 or 10 minute activities that you can use with your classroom, kind of bite-sized, and just here, I'll actually share an example right now. So when you click this link where it says view on Google Slides, it'll take you to a Google slide deck that looks like this. And it's one link that you can bookmark it, and it's updated every week, usually on Fridays. And so each week you'll see a few slides that we've created. Actually, Hannah, who's here, does a lot of creates a lot of these slides, and they're all aligned to news literacy standards. They have in-depth speaker notes and instructions, and um, yeah, I think it's a good way to just kind of a good bell ringer to start your classroom off with a quick activity. So here's a few examples of like slides you might see when you scroll through this. Here's one on the First Amendment, just a true or false question. Using your phone to record in public is allowed under the First Amendment, true or false. And then if you go to the next slide, you see the answer there. And this is something you can share, like it might prompt some discussion with your students, or you can have students raise their hand and vote on what they think the answer is. But it just kind of gets their attentions and gets them going for the class. So that's one example of slides you might see under Daily Do Now. Um, Here's another example. This is another question, and this one has two examples of websites, and one is a credible news site, and another one is what's called a pink slime website. And there's a definition at the bottom there, but basically, pink slime websites are websites that pose as local news, but are actually partisan or push a political point of view. So it can be really hard to distinguish between the two, actually, sometimes. And with AI, they've gotten more advanced. So this is a question here. Which one do you think is a pink slime site? And so the next slide answers it's the one on the right. And there's also a link there to take a quiz about this. So sometimes we incorporate other resources in these decks as well that are totally optional if you have more time to do that. But
Susan, there's one question in the chat
yeah.
about the slide deck and whether it's overwritten each week or people can just save the link once and go back and find past slides.
hmm Yeah. So wait, so if it's written every week, yeah, you can save this link every week. I think I mentioned earlier you can bookmark the link, and I'm going to scroll back here to this deck. So it's the same link right here where it says View on Google Slides. That button takes you to this page, And this is the Google slide deck that you can save. And for the school year, for 2025-26 school year, it will be updated every week in the same link. So you don't need to like find it again. You can just save this one link and look for it every Friday, or you just wait till Monday too. We'll have the link shared again there. But yeah, I hope that does that answer the question, I hope. So yeah, one link. Thanks, Hannah. Um, all right, so after you see this here, you can scroll down, you see at the bottom there it says top picks. So I'm going to move past these slide examples and share our top picks section here. Um, so top picks are, they highlight news literacy topics every week and ways that you can implement them in your classroom. So here's an example about the TikTok algorithm. And, we shared that week there was a Washington Post analysis of TikTok videos, and it found that, TikTok's algorithm chooses from topical clusters of content that it learns to associate with your initial interest. So it kind of prompts some interesting discussion on algorithms and how that affects what you see on your feeds and what information you might be fed from them. And so we've included here, and we do this with most of our top picks, but teaching ideas on this topic. There's discussion questions we've laid out, just classroom ready discussion prompts. And then we also have sometimes our daily do now slides will match a top pick. So here's one where it does. We have a slide to reflect on this topic with students. And then additional resources from the News Literacy Project. So here we've included our Checkology virtual classroom lesson on, it's called Intro to Algorithms. It's really great. So that kind of pairs well with this topic too. All right, so with top picks, there's usually like two or three in every issue. So here's another one. And this one's an interesting topic too, about how journalists use AI. I think the week that this newsletter issue came out, we saw a study from the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism on how British journalists are using AI tools. So a few takeaways from that. So it's kind of interesting. Most journalists believe AI is a threat, but they still use it. Some still use it. So just prompt some discussion on journalism ethics and how journalists might be able to use AI in an ethical way. So we've got some discussion questions there, and another teaching idea, asking students to create their own guidelines from a template for newsrooms, and some resources. And so I'll just point to under resources, there's a really great infographic, 6 things to know about AI. Um, right, this is what it looks like. But like we'll include that infographic there, that third arrow over here. And this is a good one actually to print out and just like have posted somewhere in your classroom or handout. But just some good takeaways to help framing discussions about AI and understanding about reputable sources in the age of AI. All right. So here's just one last example of our top picks. This is about student newspapers and press freedom concerns, and just some questions there. Might be interesting for journalism teachers to explore too. And again, we've got discussion questions, teaching ideas and resources with this news story to integrate in your classroom. All right. So after you see the slide deck at the top and a few two or three top picks that we've curated for you, you'll see a section called RumorGuard Rundown. And this is a very popular section. So we have usually oftentimes two rumors that we break down. And it's taken from the News Literacy Project's RumorGuard website, and it's condensed for the newsletter. So in this case, this is a rumor about a raccoon breaking into a liquor store and passing out and getting drunk. But this was AI generated and it's a fake video. Our we kind of explain in the newsletter a bit about we link to fact-checking sites and explain how this is actually not authentic. Explain a takeaway from it that's relevant to news literacy. And then I don't know if you can see at the very bottom, there's another view. Yeah, right there where the arrow points. View on Google Slides. So we have like a few buttons like that in the newsletter, but it's there again. So if you click that button, you'll be taken to another slide deck. And these are made every week. And unlike Daily Do Now, they are different every week. So it's a completely new deck. These are just really great. They're well designed. They're written by mostly by Dan on our team, who was a fact checker at Snopes for 8 years, I think, before he joined the News Literacy Project. So he has really good experience with fact checking. And he has a very comprehensive walkthrough with false rumors and how to debunk them. So in this case, this is what you'd see if you open it, and I pulled a few slides from this just to show you what it looks like when you walk through them. But he'll start with like explaining what the claim is. So this is the claim, and this video of a raccoon in a liquor store went viral a bit. Um, and then he'll often ask, well, have people take a closer look. So that's the next slide. And there's like some thinking emojis that we've added to these slides and some thought bubbles that pop up here. So, what did you notice? And Writing on the bottles is nonsensical. And here's a close-up of the bottles that are shown in the video, and it can be kind of hard to see it, but you can kind of see that that's not really a language there on the bottles. It's a kind of gibberish. Um, and then You can discuss how why would someone make a fake video about a real incident and kind of just think about why misinformation like this spreads and what it has to how it affects the information landscape. Um, yeah, it's a good discussion, I think, and AI and how what critical thinking skills you can use to determine this kind of footage if it's real or not. Because even if you are not able to find those visual clues, it's actually really tough now with AI being so advanced in technology, and even experts are fooled. So I think that really reinforces how important it is to think about context and you know who's posting what and why. So this is a good question to ask here. Why? Okay, let's see here. Um, so here's just another example. So I mentioned that there's usually two rumors we include in every Sift issue. And here's another one of also AI generated, or excuse me, AI, it's related to AI generated content. It shows a viral video of sledding on a snow hill, and that looks like a really large hill. But this is AI generated. And again, you can click on that button, view on Google Slides, try to make it really easy to find in the newsletter so you're not digging, it's just right there. Click on that and you'll see another deck like this that walks through, gives a comprehensive walkthrough of how to break down a viral rumor. So yeah, these have been great. It's different from Daily Do Now. Daily Do Nows are bite size. These are a little bit longer. These decks might be like 10, 15 slides. They might have some videos to show if there's content that's video. Yeah, they're really well designed, and Dan does a great job there. And I'm just gonna take you back to the top of the newsletter one more time. I mentioned the RumorGuard slides. Are linked at the top. So even though the decks themselves are all different links, They are all gathered in one guide. So you can always find that at the very top of the newsletter. And I know this is a lot of links, so I just want to mention that I do have a resource doc that we're going to send in a follow-up email to this presentation, and it'll have all the links that I'm mentioning here. But anyway, at the top of the newsletter, we always link to our RumorGuard slides guide, and it looks like this. Every issue of the Sift, there's like the Sift issue dates listed here. There's links to the article on our RumorGuard website about the rumor. And then there's the accompanying slide deck is linked there. So you can see our last issue was just this Monday, and we had, let's see, an AI video of earthquake shaking up McDonald's fries that went viral. So yeah, we've got a good collection here for the school year, and just keep adding to that every week if you happen to miss an issue or two. It's
Susan,
always
we've got one question in the chat
oh great.
um, about the rumor guard entries, and there's a question. Someone said they're a bit confused by the yes/no statement formats under the raccoon example that you gave. And
Mhm.
the question is, are you supposed to vote on those statements? Are they all true? What does kind of the yes/no mean?
Oh, okay. Let me go back to that over here. My understanding is there are statements, and I don't think you're meant to vote on them. They're not really questions. It's kind of like a walkthrough of, you can see that we have links there to fact checks or websites that have already debunked this. So it just kind of, I would say, more of a summary of how this rumor has been debunked, and kind of like what's true and what's not about this rumor. So that's kind of what they are. They're more statements. Um, yeah, hope that answered it for you. Um, okay, let's go back to where we were. Okay, so you've got the rumor guard guide. Um, and then this is just the end of the newsletter. We always have just a section of quick hits, just short summaries of other trends and news in news literacy. So, it'll be topics on misinformation, AI, social media, journalism, press freedom. Here we just kind of do a link curation and a quick summary of different stories that are relevant. So there's one at the top that I thought was funny. It was the um, an AI generated map posted by the National Weather Service, which was taken down. But before it was taken down, there were like fake places, fake names on it. Um, so just to be in the know, I would say like this is happening, this is going on. It's kind of what the section's about. So yeah. All right. We do have other resources in the Sift. Um, Sometimes we'll do like special issues of the Sift where we'll just we'll kind of erase the regular format and just do one theme for the issue. We do that a few times a year. And they're kind of fun to just, switch out a bit. So oftentimes we'll make quizzes and make the whole newsletter a quiz. Here's one example of a quiz we featured on artificial intelligence. And we've got a few questions. This quiz, this is not the whole quiz, it's just the beginning of it. I think this was like 4 or 5 questions. But here's like the first three, just about AI chatbots, objectivity with AI tools, and then an example of an AI generated image, and asking students what clues they see in the image that indicate that it's AI generated. So these are great to use. You can have students. We usually link to it's in the newsletter, but it'll link out to an interactive quiz, and students can take this quiz individually in small groups. You can do this as a classroom and have it be a discussion prompt. If you're a Sift subscriber, look for those special issues on occasion. We usually try to give a heads up if one is coming, if we have one in the works, if we're planning. And actually, I think yeah, we'll have one coming up next month. So um, excited for that. Um, all right, so I also wanted to point out, as we're speaking about other resources, those Daily Do Now uh, slide collections, we have that one link I mentioned that you can bookmark, and it's just updated throughout the year, every week. But we also have separate collections, and actually Hannah, who's here, creates a lot of these. But some of them are by grade level, like we have an elementary collection. We also have some by topic, like we've got a STEM collection, a press freedom collection, an AI collection. And these links will all be in the resource doc too, if you're interested in viewing these collections. Um, Oh, and I also wanted to just mention Checkology. I know I mentioned it earlier. It's a platform that we have where you can access the Sift and all the resources that I've mentioned. You can create a login um, and just reach. You can search. Actually, I can. Here it is. So when you log into Checkology, you'll always see the latest issue of the Sift ready for you right there in the top. Oops, sorry, top right corner there. And in that box, actually, we have that RumorGuard guide with all of the RumorGuard slide decks, and the Daily Do Now slides are also there. And there's also just a really handy search bar. So if you remember reading something in the SIFT, like, wasn't there that awesome graphic on breaking news? You can just search here under resources where that search bar is, like breaking news graphic, infographic, and you should be able to find it there. So it's just a really nice uh, one-stop shop to find our resources, access our newsletter. Um, yeah, let's definitely check it out. I should mention too that my colleague Erin Olson is giving a presentation tomorrow, a couple presentations on Checkology and how to get started there. So we'll include the link. I think Hannah might have it in the chat. But if you're interested in signing up and learning more about Checkology, please do. All right, so looks like we have a few minutes left. Let's wrap up here. This is the team I mentioned, working with a really wonderful team behind the SIFT. So I'm Susan in the left corner, but we've got Dan, who works on our RumorGuard slides and was experienced at Snopes as a fact checker. We have Hannah here, who's with us today, and she does a lot of great work with Daily Do Now slides. Lourdes, who's our education editor, and we also have Peter and Pam, who are former educators, just longtime teachers, and we also have Mary, who is another editor. So it's a really great team, and it's not, it takes a lot of searching and reading and put it together to create all these resources and get it all together every week. It takes a team to do that. So that's us.